What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are excited for another evening of City Celebrates 8, City Takes 8, as we're celebrating 8 years of ministry. City Church, family and friends, wherever you're watching from, I want you, number one, I want you to share this experience. If you have been able to engage any of these conversations, you know they're practical, they're light. No jargon, no fluff. We're just conversating, and however the Lord leads and sees fit to bless somebody through our humanity, that's just what we're aiming for. So this is not church by any means. Nobody's going to be preaching tonight. Well, somebody might be preaching tonight. When our guests come on, you're going to know who we're talking about. We got a powerful duo family couple that's going to be coming in. They always carry a word with them. And so, but with that being said, man, we're just going to have fun. So I want you to share. I want you to go in the comments. I want you to engage. Tonight is going to be explosive. I'm excited about it. With that being said, all week long, as City Celebrates 8, we have been grabbing some of our dream teamers, some of our leaders. These are nothing more than common people, just like you and I, who have sacrificed, who have given themselves to the work of the ministry in various capacities. They are critical to what we do at the City Church, and we have taken our hand as led by God and tapped just a few of them and said, would you be interested in engaging in a practical, face-to-face, common day conversation? We have had a couple said, I don't know about that. That might be a little too much for me. But for the most part, many of them agreed and said, let's just do it. Tonight, no fluff, no conversations ahead. We're just straight engaging, touch on a few things, see what happens. And again, however the Lord sees fit to use this conversation tonight to be a blessing to you and your home, that is our gift to you. So with that being said, City Church is made up of so many incredible couples, so many incredible singles, so many incredible families and people. But I tell you, at the core of a lot of all we do, there is this family. They are known as the Murrays. They have been connected with the house for an extremely long time now. And they have the heart of the house. They are leaders in every sense of the word, not only in ministry, but also in the community. And I want to invite them in as they're going to engage us in conversation tonight. Do me a favor. I want you to welcome on screen Brittany and Mac Murray. Celebrate them. Thank you guys for joining us, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, sir.
Good, no doubt. How are y'all feeling?
Feeling good. Happy that the workday is over, but overall, really good.
Feeling really good, sir.
Yeah, those are good problems you have there. We'll talk about that in just a bit. So take an opportunity, if you don't mind, you guys introduce yourselves to the world.
Okay.
Let you go first.
All right. My name is Brittany Murray. I am originally, I have to start with this. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. So I'm a transplant. And let's see. I am a teacher by trade. I worked with Wayne County Public Schools for 10 years. And so I have just recently switched careers to being a home daycare provider. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. That's me.
I love it.
And I'm Mac Murray. Happy to be married to this beautiful woman. We've been married for 10 years. I am born and raised right here in the city of Goldsboro. And I agree with the fact that the saying that people say where there's gold in Goldsboro, because it's what attracted my wife down here all the way from Michigan.
Wait.
So I'm a family guy. I love family. I love all of my family, spending time with them. Born and raised in church, and I love the City Church of Goldsboro and the city of Goldsboro.
Listen, There's this show that a lot of people are watching. I can't exactly say I've seen it. I think Anthony and Anthony and James have been telling me about it. There's this young lady on the show, and her name, I believe, is Light Skin Keisha. But Keisha isn't exactly light skinned. So it's like, why did they keep calling Keisha light skinned when Keisha isn't light skinned? This is how I feel sometimes when Brittany's like, I'm from Detroit. I'm like, why does she keep saying she's from the D and she's from Dudley? We all know she does not have a Detroit bone in her body.
Exactly. The real D-town.
No, don't
give us what street you grew up on there. Let us know. What street you reckon?
I grew up off of 8 Mile. If you're from Michigan, if you're from Detroit, you know what 8 Mile is.
She heard that from the movie.
No, I did not.
You talking about Eminem's 8 Mile?
I literally grew up off of 8 Mile, the Southfield side.
All right, we'll talk about that at another time because you didn't come up with Eminem. I know that for sure now. Eminem is my guy outside of Bobby Jones, but Eminem is my guy. So let's talk for a second. We've already kind of touched there. We see this magic going on between you guys. Go ahead. Everybody wants to know, how did Mac and Brittany, the union, come to be?
Oh, Lord. I'm going to start. So we met in 2009. I was a junior in college and Mac was working. And in college, my church community was the gospel choir. No, I do not sing, for anybody who's listening. But if you in the choir, you can just blend with people. So let's just get that straight before somebody watches this. But I was in the gospel choir, and there was a add-on to the gospel choir, which was a dance team, a Christian dance team. And so my best friend at that time, they were the leaders over the choir, and it was just one random night hanging out, like you do in college. And him and her were handling business for our yearly tour that we take during spring break, where we travel the country singing at different churches. And this year in 2009, Goldsboro happened to be on the list of one of the churches that we were going to stop at. So my friend called the church to communicate, just basically talk about what we would need as the choir, the lighting, all that type of stuff. And this guy was the, what were you doing? Lighting?
It was the lighting tech.
Yeah, he was the lighting tech. So my friend knew I was single, and I had recently came off of what I call a love fast. That's a whole nother story. But I was ready to mingle or whatever. So he heard this guy on the phone. He was trying to play setup, and he was like, all right, let me have you talk to the leader of the dance team. And he gave the phone over to me. So I didn't really know, I was just keeping it serious and business. And so, yeah, this is the type of lighting that we'll need, blah, blah, blah. Mac, you could pick up from here because he had this whole other agenda while we were just talking about business.
It wasn't me, it was the Holy Spirit, the Holy One. So basically the same thing that happened with her on the other end of the phone, same thing happened to me. So he was communicating with the media director at the time, and the media director said, well, yeah, I have my lighting tech here. He'll handle any lighting needs you guys may have. He said, as a matter of fact, I'm going to put him on the phone. And so I got on the phone, heard Brittany's voice, and me and him were on the phone. I'm like, man, she sounds so good. So good.
Tell him what you thought I sounded like.
I was like, yeah, she sounds tall. Yeah. I'm like, man, she's my height. She sounds light skinned. Oh, yeah. Beautiful voice. And so I fell in love at just hearing her voice. Honestly, I'm like, okay, when they come down, I have to meet her. So when they came down, it was like 3 buses of them, and I could probably count the guys on my hand. So it was just all ladies for the most part. And I asked one of the guys, I said, which one is Brittany? He said, right there. He said, the short one right there. I was like, Brittany Hoyle, the one I talked to. He was like, that's her. I said, okay. I was like, all right, good.
Yeah. So fast forward, I was not giving him any play because I was just super serious. I had just, like I said, came off of this love fast because I had been hurt so many times before. So it was just like, I'm here to do business. I wasn't thinking about him. And he was macking like his name, like, even though I was short, he was still trying to get around me and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, he tried to get my number.
Yes.
I gave him my email.
She shared her email. The coldest thing ever. And at the time, I'm like, oh, I like this. Not only do you sound good, but you're making me chase. I like it. So then fast forward, they left. They were on the road, and she contacted me. I was washing the car. I just knew. I said, God, I know you're real now. Because she made the first contact. So I'm like, that's it. And from there, we dated long distance for 2 years, and now here we are.
10 years later.
10 years later. Let's go for 10. This is your 10th year?
10th year married. Yeah, we dated 2 years. So it's 12 years altogether.
Yeah, so it'll be married 11 years in August.
Mm-hmm.
Got you. Let's go. We're excited about that. So let's talk about you guys. You're dating, you get married, you're growing up. Somehow or another, 8 years ago, the City Church launched, and somewhere in there, you guys stumbled across the path of the City Church. What did that look like? How did you come across the City Church?
So I think it originally had started when you and I connected as it relates to God Belongs in My City. I knew of you, knew of your family, and I definitely I played basketball in high school, so I was familiar with Mount Olive College at the time, basketball camp, and all that. And so I was just like, hey, it's just kind of like another reconnection. And so from God Belongs in My City, you guys shared with us that you were doing, was it coffee and cake?
And conversation.
Yes. And at Goldsboro High School. And we were like, well, hey, we'll come support. That's what we do. And fast forward, I think you invited me to go to Cleveland with you guys. And we went for I went for Gathering Other Shepherds with you guys. That was amazing. And after then, sometime after that, I was in prayer one day at the house, honestly. And they were in the other room, her and our oldest, playing, doing something. And I was just crying like a baby. And, God had spoke to me in prayer and was like, you to be transitioned to the City Church. This is, where you're going to grow, you and your family. And from there, it was all she wrote. It was tough. It was very tough.
Yeah, like Mac, he was born at his original church prior to the City Church. For me, what connected me to the City Church was more so, no offense, Pastor Terry, but it was Lady J, because she took me under her wing. At being at that time a young wife, she I think she just saw that I needed community that I wasn't really getting, being a transplant, which for me was a huge culture shock.
The Bible Belt.
The Bible Belt, just because my church pedigree is 0. Well, let me not say 0. Maybe I was in kindergarten, but going from not really knowing a lot about church to like, okay, now you at a traditional Black church. It was a lot. And so having that community that, Lady J kind of bring me under her wing, that's what got me hooked.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so I had been coming just to kind of, well, not kind of, but to support from the beginning, just, helping with lighting and all of that. And, once, God had shared that was all she wrote from there.
Since you guys have been connected, like people see Sunday mornings per se, they see events that we do, but outside of all of that, there is maybe a facet of the City Church that is just as valuable: the camaraderie, the community, the family connection. How has the City Church impacted your lives, your family, since being apart and connecting?
For me, it was definitely the community aspect of it, because like I said, prior to having no community and trying to find my place, it was hard. So when I came to the City Church and I saw other families, young families that looked like us as far as having young kids, little kids, and that were not stagnant, but like constantly trying to learn. So people were sharing about books that they were reading or new business ventures. Like it was just, it seemed like there was momentum and growth. And so that has definitely helped me and helped our family to go in alongside, and continue moving forward.
Gotcha.
For me, it is honestly what is the word? I just lost it. I'm sorry.
It's gonna come.
But it was honestly, doing life with us. My relationships in my prior church were mainly outside of family. It was mainly more closely connected to serving and in church. So when there was anything happening with church, it was mainly that, or the guys getting together to play basketball. That was it. But for the culture at the City Church with the guys, it was getting together through the week, doing different things on the weekends. Hey, we're going out doing something that's wholesome, it's clean, it's fun, and it's for our age. And that was really what I felt like we needed for our kids, for my family, for our marriage. And even being connected with you and Lady J, just shooting us a text and about what you're reading, or we're doing this, hey, you guys should check it out. It's always just doing life with us.
Mm-hmm. Let me pause and insert this. So sometimes it can be difficult for people to understand relationships in ministry. Mm-hmm. And there can at times be perception as this one's a favorite, blah, 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 blah. What a lot of people don't always know is the sacrifice. And practically any time and every time I've ever ministered somewhere else, probably 10, 15 minutes before I'm getting ready to go, doorbell rings. It's Mac and someone else at the door. Pastor T, if you give me the keys, I'll let the trunk up. I'll put your stuff in there. I'm never having to drive, never having to move. That type of faithfulness, has set your family up. While we're there, talking about being set up, all right? You guys had the opportunity to minister to a sect of people who know what it's like to make mistakes, for life to hit you, yet at the same time, your life is a testimony that there is life after mistakes, poor decisions, whatever the case might be. The City Church has had its fair share of people who have been impacted by life, poor decisions. Life just finds you. One of the things unique about your family is when life found you, you found me, and you followed every instruction.
Mm-hmm.
When life found you, you found me. And it couldn't have been me because I'm just a young pastor. I ain't never done this before. It couldn't have been me. It was clearly a God moment. When life found you, you found me. You followed every instruction. And for lack of better terms, you sit here today in no wise looking like what you've been through. I want you to speak to those who are out there who life has found them, or maybe even share encouragement to those where life is going to find them. The criticality, the importance of community and following instructions. I know I just went on a tangent. I said a lot. I hope you caught what I said.
I did. I think that at the truest core of it, I learned loyalty from my parents and to their pastor. I learned that even loyalty to family members from my parents. But I learned accountability and the value of it at the City Church. And not saying that there weren't moments of accountability before or from my parents, but the accountability where it pushes you to not just stay stuck, but to find a way to get up and keep going, to find a way to get up and get on. And that's been, I think, the biggest thing for me, more importantly, is you're not in this alone. And you say it all the time from the stage, and that's, we have a culture where we're about doing life with you. And that has been probably the biggest thing of value, more importantly to our marriage and especially to our family. Because when life had hit us and changes had taken place, my first instinct was two things: to let my father know and to let pastor know. And I know for a fact that I'm going to get wisdom from both. And that's what I do with almost every decision that I make, because of what I have learned, and that is to trust the voice of those who lead me. And so I think that should encourage everybody on every level if you are committed to them, to consider how much you trust their voice.
That's good. I think that is rare, though, in a sense, because I feel like it's human nature, even as somebody who's born again and saved, to hide when life happens, like Adam and Eve did. Life happened to them. They wanted to hide. And the danger in that is, in darkness, that is, where things grow, just like, in the soil. So in darkness, things grow. And the sin or the life instance, the grief, the sadness, there's so much when we talk about life. And I don't, we specifically have certain things that we've gone through that I don't mind sharing. But when it hits you and you try to hide because of various reasons, shame, disgust, whatever, I almost think of it as like exciting the enemy, because now he has you cornered. And so, Pastor Terry, you talked about this one Sunday, and it wasn't a part of your message, but you went there when you were speaking about accountability. And that's so true, that if you don't have somebody that you're accountable with, then you're going to be cornered. And who else is going to be in your corner? And some people will say, okay, well, it's just me and God. But that's a great scapegoat. But God has literally placed your church community as his hands and his feet, his resources.
Yeah.
So when you do that, it's you cutting your resources off. And yeah, there's just so much. There's so much into that. But when life happens, don't hide. Like, that's the time to do the complete opposite of what Adam and Eve did, you know?
Yeah. I think even from that, first of all, I told y'all that the preachers were in the room tonight. I told you there was going to be a word. You just felt the whole tide start turning a second ago. I said, here we go. I knew it was coming, and I love it. So even with that analogy, I believe that accountability is twofold. You know, for those who are being covered, and for lack of better terms, the covering, there comes that natural component of all of us in shame and guilt and hurt to hide. But I feel like when accountability is real, there comes a sense when a covering can feel disconnection, and I'm going to find you. So like, Adam, where are you? Like, we too close for this. I'm sensing something. Where are you? And you know, when it's done right, it comes both ways. And I never would have imagined the relationship we have. I never would have imagined the closeness that we have. You know, I got my own issues when it comes to trust. So I don't just be rocking with everybody. But there was definitely a unique thing that God has done here. And I am so honored to have you guys. I'll tell you this, Mac, you were talking about accountability. And everything he said, he ain't lying. Because folks will get up here and tell a story fast. Everything he said, he's not lying. I'll tell you this, though. This was maybe one of the most. So when life found you and you called me, all right, Lord, you got to help. All right. The Lord begins giving instruction. In my mind, I'm a young pastor. I don't even feel like I'm proven, at least in this light. And I know the relationship that you have with your father. And I know you're going to be talking with your father. This was a game changer for me. Your father was overseas, like on the other side of the globe. Your father called me and said, Pastor Terry, I appreciate you for covering my family. I appreciate you for covering my son. And he says, whatever you tell my son to do, I fully support it. Like, you don't find that, especially with him being an elder statesman. He easily could have pulled a father card. He said, whatever you tell him to do. And that communicates and speaks the stock that you and your family come from. Like, you ain't new to this. You're true to this. With that being said, life has found you guys in a few different capacities. But one of the unique things that I've seen is that every time life finds you, the faithfulness of God still always shows itself. Whether it be change of employment, finding employment, making boss moves, deciding I'm just going to make my, whatever hardship you found yourself in, the faithfulness of God always showed itself. I want you to speak to that and take that opportunity to encourage somebody who may be in what you were in or what you are in, etc. Why do I feel like something's about to happen here? Don't do this with me.
I'm stuck between choked up and what to say.
Right.
I'm gonna let you go.
Because it's a lot. We have been through a lot. Mm-hmm. We've been through a whole lot.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast recently, and the title was The Freeing Feeling of Knowing That You Are Not Enough. And that really spoke to me. And I feel like for everything that we've been through, at the core of it, that's what it is. That's what has allowed us to keep moving. When you have God in the proper position And there's like a sense of awe, like I'm not enough. I'm not enough to be able to be perfect. I'm not enough to be able to make the right decision or what I feel like is the right decision. I have to fully rely on God. I have to fully rely on God and place you in the proper position so that when life hits, because it will, I'm not overburdened by the cares of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I can, just let it out. And I'll give you a perfect example. I think John David is crying. I need to think we need.
This is life. Do whatever you need.
Edit it.
I'll pick up.
I don't know.
So if you go ahead, I'll pick up.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, and this is life. Thank you, Pastor, for doing life with us. With life happening the way that it happens, unexpected, and some from expected from foolish decisions. Every time that there's a down moment with us, was an opportunity for us to make a decision one way or another. And we had established in our marriage that if we're going to trust God, then we're gonna trust God. And if we say we're going to believe God, then we're going to believe Him. That means His word. That means what Pastor Terry and Lady J are teaching us wholeheartedly. And so whenever things happened, took a turn in our marriage, and I made the decision that I made in our marriage that almost ended it, God was there. And it was basically a matter of us determining how much we were going to believe God for what we wanted and what we needed. So in marriage, when we thought it was over, it was believe God. When we were, in between jobs, for me, more importantly, it was believe God, because for me as a man, it was, I have to make sure that I'm proving myself to be able to, and capable of covering and carrying my family, providing for my family. So whenever a job change took place, it was another low point for me. Then there was one position that I had where I just felt stuck, like it was kind of like I was kind of in a pattern. And it was another moment to believe God. So in every down moment is an opportunity. And so I just believed.
Did you say opportunity? Like
yes,
an upward?
yeah.
Okay. Oh, I like that. Like
I told you that was a word.
I just believed that whether it was me making something happen in the meantime while I'm depending on God to, do His part, that I wouldn't feel like an outcast or something I did was the problem. And Genesis is my favorite book, so we've been talking about it already. But when Cain killed Abel, God cast him out from where they were living. And Cain told God, he said, man, if you cast me out there, they're going to kill me. And God marked him and still protected him, even though he made the horrible decision that he made. And so the encouragement that I received from that was, it doesn't matter what you do. God is always there to make sure that reconciliation is made. He's always there to protect and to provide for you. So no matter, how far away from God you feel like you are, he's still always just right there. And it's just a matter of allowing him to do what he's always done. And so every situation that we've ever been in to date, my wife, making her transition to start her business has been about believing God. And from off gate, he just overflow. And so that's where we are right now, just riding on that wave.
I love it. The faithfulness of God. Man, I want to give you guys, you could take a minute or two if you want to share a last thought, just a word to encourage somebody, whether it be a mom, a single mother, a couple. I give you a minute or so to just leave an encouraging word before we wrap this thing up.
I just want to encourage others that God can restore anything if you have a repentant heart. And there is a if, because, I don't want
if.
There is a huge if. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to think, because people can misconstrue the grace message and believe that they can repeatedly or be in habitual sin or what have you, and then, but God's going to take me back.
Right.
That's not how it works. So, but God can restore anything if you have a repentant heart and you do the work. That's my encouragement.
Yeah,
I love
it. Whenever turns and changes take place, as I stated earlier, you have a decision to make between two. And that decision, because I don't feel like you just unknowingly drift or step back. I feel like part of that is kind of where you want to be. And so if you make a decision or a mistake, you feel that, I can kind of slowly step away or slide away. But that's a decision that you're making. And you have to realize that even though we know God is going to do his part, we still have a part to play in what happens. Faith without works is dead speaks to this situation. And so the works part is for us. Our faith is, the belief part that we don't see. Because we don't know what the end is going to be. And so I just want to encourage you not to just say you believe God, but show him. To those who are married, don't just say you believe in them or believe in God, but show them, I believe in you, encourage them. And the same thing for parents with children. They need to hear it more importantly now. It's difficult times, stuff they don't understand. So you have to let them know, I believe in you. You can do this. We believe in God. He's going to help us with this. So no matter who you are and where you're from, just remember to continue. If you're going to believe God, make sure you believe him.
Listen, City Church Nation, man, if you have been blessed by this experience, go in the comments now and show some love to Mac and Brittany for sharing their life, sharing their time, sharing their story with us tonight. I know you have been blessed by it. I know it's touched your heart. Let's do this on our way out. We got a quick rapid fire. You may have heard these questions. You may have not. I know we haven't talked about them. I'm going to ask you a quick question. I want you to give a quick answer, the first thing that comes to your mind, all right? Again, some of these questions make me feel uncomfortable. They're about me, but I got to stick to the script per se. So let's just roll with it, all right? I want you to share your favorite PT saying or quote. Your favorite PT saying or quote.
Paraphrase.
Okay.
Do I need to expound or am I supposed to?
If you want to.
I just like when you put it in layman's terms. Just like,
I love it.
This is what it is.
I think mine's is that's a good one. Don't fake the funk on a nasty dunk.
All right, let's go. Let's keep it 100. Let's your favorite that you can remember, your favorite message or series.
My favorite was the recent one, Pray Anyways.
My favorite message series, I won't go on a series, but I will say the message was All Eyes on Me, hands down.
Yes, sir. All right, let's go. Y'all, you going back a little bit. Your favorite Sound of the City song.
My favorite is, they probably only have sung it twice in the history of 8 years.
Make your request known.
Right. It was Never Be the Same by Tasha Cobbs and Shayna Wilson, and Kayla and Brandy tag team on that.
All right. You hear it, Kayla and Brandy. Y'all need to get to work. I mean, two times in 8 years. Come on, man. Y'all got to get to work. Step your game. This is basically what Brittany from the D is saying. I need you to step your game up.
Tighten up.
Mine is Here's My Worship.
Oh, yeah. She's nasty. I love it. So let's do this. Lastly, your most memorable City Church moment, your fondest City Church memory.
Mine was the message, The Oil Knows Your Name. That moment when
right. Don't do that.
It was.
Don't do that.
But
she is.
That still gives me chills when I think about it. Because it was a model of restoration.
Stop, Brittany, stop. Do this to me now.
It was a model of restoration, like that for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna tie two. So that one, because you're talking about restoration, I'm gonna tie when you called me and you told me that this Sunday is you guys' Sunday. We were at the Maxwell and you allowed us to go up because I guess it was at the point of me kind of going through restoration with our marriage. Mm-hmm. And you, without any obligation to me, let me know. I know this seems selfish, but for me, it spoke to the culture and the accountability, the love and the culture that we have. That moment at the Maxwell Center, that was the Sunday that we had service at the Maxwell, and you allowed us to go up together. That meant a lot. It meant a lot.
We out of here, man. I'm not fooling with y'all no more. I'm done. I can't take no more. Thank y'all for tuning in. As you can see, this kind of gets real.
Oh, man.
So I can't speak for no one else at the City Church. We don't play games. This is real.
Yes.
Heartstrings, emotions, lives are involved. This is real. And so let's just say thank God for Jesus, because he definitely covered me through a lot of my seasons where I wasn't as smart as I thought I was. And one of the brightest seasons definitely was being able to cover you guys when life found you. But you made it so easy. And, your family, your connection with God, your authentic connection with God, and your heart, they both just speak to where you are now and what the Lord has been able to do. So I salute you. I salute every Mac and Brittany who's going to come after you, who's going to make it to where you are, despite life finding them in whatever season that they are. All right, man, I love you. City Church, I love you. if the good Lord allows and this snow holds up, you want to ensure that you are in the room on Sunday morning at 10:30. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All year long so far, we have been talking on the money, having these conversations. I am preaching this weekend. I am spitting. I'm wearing a suit. It's going to be nasty. We're going all in. I love y'all so much. Brittany and Mac, thank you guys for sharing your heart and your time.
Thank
all right.
You,
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time. God bless you.